Law and Mediaite.
Law and Mediaite.
There is a legal or law point of view in what's happening in the news.
5 devices in the building that
sends its people.
And welcome back to Law and Crime. One of my favorite segments now I'm always happy to introduce, Law and Mediaite, where law and politics meet. Colby Hall, the founding editor of Mediaite. Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Today we have an interesting clip that occurred just today. Actually, Nancy Pelosi is about to regain the gavel as Speaker of the House later today. Yesterday, she sat down with Savannah Guthrie for a wide-ranging interview where she discussed a bunch of issues which aired this morning. She talked about the government shutdown, her trip to vacation in Hawaii that was a big sort of talking point. But the most interesting part to me was when Savannah Guthrie challenged Nancy Pelosi on whether or not Congress or anyone could really indict a sitting president. And this is this is the clip.
Many Democrats are talking about impeachment. You've said it would be sad and divisive for the country to pursue impeachment.
Yeah.
Are you willing to rule it out?
Well, we have to wait and see what happens with the Mueller report. We shouldn't be impeaching for a political reason, and we shouldn't avoid impeachment for a political reason. So we'll just have to see how it comes.
Do you believe the special counsel should honor and observe the Department of Justice guidance that states a sitting president cannot be indicted?
I do not think that that is conclusive. No, I do not.
So you think it's possible that special counsel Mueller could legally indict a sitting president?
Let's just see what Mueller does. Let's spend our time on getting results for the American people.
As you well know, there is long-standing Department of Justice guidance that states a sitting president should not be indicted. But it is not the law.
And it is not the law. Everything indicates that a president can be indicted after he is no longer president of the United States.
What about a sitting president?
Well, the sitting president when he's no longer president of the United States.
A president who is in office. Right. Could Robert Mueller come back and say, I am seeking an indictment?
I think that that is an open discussion. I think that is an open discussion in terms of the law.
Well, Colby, that's a bold statement. Here she goes. She says absolutely she believes he can be indicted. What do you think? Do you agree with that statement or not?
Well, you know, we focus on the intersection of media, politics, and law. I think the takeaway there is that she left open the possibility. And really what the issue is that she said there that it's unsettled. Like there's no sort of clear, it's not law, it's guidance. And so I think in the sort of the frame set of like information narrative battles, what we're going to see unfold over the next 6 months to a year is this ongoing fight, this ongoing battle, legal battle, whether or not President Trump could be indicted by special counsel Robert Mueller if it comes to that. And so I think what she was sort of shooting across a broadside saying, this is where we're prepared to go. There is no sort of standard that comes before this that we can really count on. So it will be a fascinating thing to track over the next 3, 6, 12 months.
It is going to be fascinating. And, you know, we all know that Nancy Pelosi's vocal. She tends to say what she thinks and tends to be comfortable sharing that with media. Allure is here with us. I just want to ask you quickly, I think that you've done some research on the legalities behind it. It's my understanding it's not the law. The law doesn't say that you can or cannot. What's your understanding?
Yeah, so Nancy Pelosi is absolutely right that this is unsettled. And the reason why it's unsettled, we have DOJ guidelines, which are not really the same thing as laws. And this came up during the Watergate scandal, and the issue about whether or not a sitting president is immune from criminal prosecution was fully briefed by both sides, but ultimately the Supreme Court decided the issue of U.S. versus Nixon on completely other grounds. So the question was asked, it was argued, it was specifically left undecided and open. So that means that what Nancy Pelosi said, that this is really an open question, is absolutely true. Now, we may see that the DOJ guidelines are what's followed, which for years have said that a sitting president cannot be indicted. But we may see a change to that. And the arguments for no presidential immunity are pretty strong arguments.
All right. Colby, was there anything else in terms of what's the reception been to her statement? I know you have your finger on the pulse.
Well, I mean, my other takeaway here that I thought was sort of ignored was her opening question there about impeachment. And I think she very wisely, when she asked about impeachment, she simply said, like, that's a political topic. That's she basically punted and said, we're not going to do that for political reasons, which basically means that the only real people that can sort of get behind impeachment is the Republican Party. You know, it was Howard Baker during Watergate that was the Tennessee senator that sort of turned first on Nixon and said, we're going to put our country ahead of our party. I don't think we're there yet for a ton of reasons, and I think Nancy Pelosi was very wise politically to step back on that and focus more on policy. She also said, let's just wait and see what Robert Mueller has to reveal. Because at that point, you know, unless we know more, we're all just here left guessing. So it was a fascinating interview. It'll be a fascinating next 2 years with Nancy Pelosi in charge.
Absolutely. Thank you, Colby. Always love your piece. Appreciate you being on today.